Hello, my name is Katie Howard, and this presentation covers my clinical leadership experience and what I learned from job shadowing as CTAE director. This project helped me explore whether I am ready to move from being a middle school agriculture teacher into the broader leadership role of being an SAE director at a school or district level. I currently serve as a middle school agriculture teacher where I teach foundational agriculture skills, manage our school garden and animals, and help support our FFA efforts. Most of my leadership happens in the classroom. So this experience allowed me a chance to see what leadership looks like above just the program and classroom level. I currently teach 6th, 7th, and a high school year-long 8th grade course. My future goal is to become a CTAE director. I feel my county could use someone at the middle school level to support CTAE teachers. CTAE directors help promote and develop CTAE pathways. They help plan out professional developments and are directly involved in the community involvement to help CTAE directors. My goal is to encourage my county to create a CTAE middle school director role. There is currently no support for CTAE teachers at the middle school level in my county and many counties across Georgia. I want to move into a role where I can support multiple pathways, guide teachers, and help shape programs that prepare students for real world careers. This role would allow me to have a wider impact across an entire school. I chose to shadow a CTE director because I want to see leadership happening beyond the classroom. Things like budgeting, scheduling, and building partnerships with our community. This site is near my middle school and it's where the kids that I teach will go on to high school. So I wanted a chance to see the true scope of CTE at the high school level. I chose my site supervisor because she has a very strong reputation for innovation and teacher support. She oversees multiple pathways and has maintained excellent relationships with community partners. I thought her experience would give me a realistic and honest view of what a CTA leadership looks like. My learning outcomes aligned with our four course SLOs: innovation, implementation, diversity, and leadership. I selected these because they matched what I needed to understand in order to decide if I am truly ready to move on to a CTA leadership position. Each outcome was shaped by my observations and reflections. My innovation goal. For innovation, my goal was to learn how a CTE director solves complex problems such as enrollment issues, teachers' needs, and pathway alignments. I wanted to observe how innovation supports students' opportunities and helps programs be relevant in our changing job markets. To meet this goal, I observed advisory planning, reviewed how the director responds to declining enrollment issues, and asked about past challenges. I also studied how our school promotes pathways through hype videos, and I even helped with a new project called the Course Digest, which will help students pick a pathway at the middle school and high school level. The goal was met because I could identify several innovative practices being used, such as shifting from energy back to engineering based on data provided by our advisory committee. What worked well was observing these real time decisions being made. What didn't work well was that I couldn't be there all the time, and some days were just too busy. It was hard for me to keep up with what the director had going on. My implementation goal was to understand how the director puts initiatives into action, things like budgeting, curriculum alignment, scheduling, and supporting teachers. I wanted to learn how all of the moving pieces of a CTA department come together in a coordinated and seamless way. I reviewed budgets, grant information, and enrollment projections. I observed conversations about pathway sequencing and how they align to current workforce. I also looked at how teachers plan, creating essential opportunities to help students with finding a job in the future. We also discussed how programs could be adjusted. This goal was met because I gained clarity about the systems behind CTE programs. Seeing real documents helped me understand the complexity of state requirements in the CTE area. By the end, I could outline the steps that would be required to launch or even modify a CTE pathway and how to encourage students to join. For diversity, my goal was to understand how CTE programs ensure that all students have equitable access to pathways, certifications, and CTSOs. I wanted to see how decisions are being made to support students of different groups and how we are removing barriers to participation. I reviewed enrollment data, observed how students are recruited, and looked at strategies for supporting these students with different backgrounds and learning needs. I also noted how pathways are promoted to middle school students through events like elective fairs, as well as our special diversity day, where students of learning disabilities are able to come and learn more about pathways in a smaller setting. This goal was met because I was able to identify practices that are promoting inclusiveness, such as our flexible schedules and our multiple entry points into pathways, and how we are presenting this material to our students and parents. A challenge was limited access to long term data, but overall, I gained a clear understanding of how diversity is driving decision making. For leadership, my goal was to learn what effective leadership truly looks like at the department level. I wanted to identify leadership strategies I could use as I move towards being a CTAE director and reflect on my own readiness for this kind of responsibility. I observed meetings, conducted informal teacher observations, and was able to identify and interact with students. I asked the director about their leadership philosophy and documented qualities I saw, like her high level of communication, her adaptability, and how great she is at supporting teachers across all these different subject levels. This goal was met because I identified that I have two long term leadership goals that I need to work on in order to gain confidence. I am going to work on developing a clear leadership identity, and I'm going to strengthen my instructional skills so that I am better able at making program and school level decisions. What worked well was seeing this leadership in action. The most beneficial part of this experience was truly seeing the complexity of being a CTAE leader and understanding what truly happens behind the scenes. The least beneficial was not being able to be in every single classroom or observe every single pathway. Overall, my site supervisor did an amazing job of providing insight into these multiple pathways. I plan to use this experience to strengthen my current agriculture program and continue building leadership skills. The project confirms that I do truly wish to be a CTA leader as I mature in my education, and it will help me provide the tools and support that my teachers need in the classroom.